For those of us born without disabilities, we take simple activities like walking through a door or up the stairs for granted. But for those who are less able, these simple activities can be quite challenging. Join us as we take a look at accessibility features which make mobility less challenging for our disabled friends.
Disability is a tricky term, and I think we look at disability as being something about the person. In reality, disability is just how someone who might have an impairment has to address barriers that are embedded in our society. And so it's really not about the person as much as it's also about the society that they have to be able to move about in.
One of the big problems that we have around here is parking and accessibility into a building from the parking lot. Because as you know, we have a ramp, we have a van with a ramp, and quite often we cannot find a handicap parking that has enough space for the ramp to be let down.
The challenges that I find when I go out with Joel is like sometimes we want to go to the mall, and there's it always stairs, and I cannot take him upstairs. And another one is sometimes we have to go to the banks, and either car just pull up and park right where I'm supposed to, where the ramp is, or they are parking in the handicapped space.
So a lot of it is just getting an attitude of thinking about persons or yourself, because eventually at some point we all are quite vulnerable to being disabled in one way or another as we age, that we keep that in mind. And how would it be if I had a certain disability?
He's so happy when he go out and we up and down in supermarkets and things like that. The only challenge is that we love to take him to places, but because there's no always going upstairs and there's no wheelchair, accessibility is very difficult.
The way that the law will address the issues for persons with disabilities is that even though we have a Bill of Rights and we have some legislation where it's implicit that rights are protected, usually for various populations, but especially for persons with disabilities, there really needs to be an explicit promise. And with comprehensive legislative action, the way that the law will address the issues for persons with disabilities, it does allow for the mainstreaming of persons with disabilities into all policies and future legislation, so that as we move forward as a country, that the law forces us to consider the needs and the rights of persons with disabilities in any sort of legislative act or in any sort of policy, so that it is always explicit and not intended to be an implicit promise.
This year, we join the world in observing International Day of Persons with Disabilities on Friday, 3rd December. The local theme is It's About Ability. Remember while doing this that persons living with disabilities have the same rights as everyone else. So let's do our part to ensure, whenever possible, that they can access those rights.